What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us today. I'm joined by Jillian Decoursey, Invicta FC Atomweight. Really lucky to have her. She's an awesome fighter. I guess my first question to you, this is the first Invicta fighter I've had on here. I've always wanted to know, what does the word Invicta mean?
I don't know. Not a clue. I'm actually want to Google this now and see if I can find out. This is an intriguing question. I never even thought to think um what it could possibly mean or why they picked that name. I know they do the Phoenix Rising, and their emblem is the Phoenix. So I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with that.
Okay. Yeah, because you think about, I guess you could say the same thing about Bellator. What's a
Right.
Bellator? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, UFC pretty
I think it's
straightforward.
something,
Yeah, it's gotta
right?
be something.
Isn't
I'm seeing,
like a Bellator like a creature or something, right?
is it? I don't know. Maybe
I
you
don't
go to
know.
the zoo and you see Bellators running around.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
yeah.
There we go. Okay, I found out what it means. It's a
Okay.
Latin word meaning undefeated or unconquered.
All right. So that's pretty cool. It's a fair name.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Um,
That makes sense then as a fighting thing.
it certainly does. Yeah. So for what I learned about you, that's cool. You played college basketball before
Yes,
MMA.
I
That's
did.
awesome. So how did you go from being on the basketball court to you know what, I want to fight people?
It just kind of happened. Like after college, I was playing competitively. I was playing like some club leagues, but it wasn't like the same. You didn't have the
Yeah.
same level of competition. So I just started training. And then I started competing a lot in jujitsu, and then it went from that to fighting. Just kind of happened.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you were an NCAA athlete, I'd assume, right, under
Yep.
their jurisdiction. So how does that compare to, there's so much talk these days about the power they have over the athletes, should they pay them, their treatment of the athletes. How does being under the power of the NCAA compare to being a fighter and then having to deal with the mixed martial arts promotions?
For me, like the way I viewed it, I was like, well, they're paying for my college, so
Yeah,
that's getting paid. Like my room, my board, everything was kind of covered, so that's what I needed at that time. I was like, all right, spend money and stuff like that. All right, that's on me, but if you're paying for my school,
mhm.
I think that was a fair trade off for me. And now I guess it's like kind of similar. Especially starting out unless really you're in the UFC or you're top of the Bellator food chain and things like that. You're not making crazy money. So it's kind of for me, I just view it as it's something I really like doing. So the pay just kind of helps keep that going. And then you get a little extra spend and fun money.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So did you ever make March Madness when you were playing
No,
basketball?
no, I played D2, so
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Okay.
we didn't get that level.
Okay. So I assume, yeah, I see you do some MMA writing, things like that. So you're clearly a fan of the sport, which is awesome. I was on social media the other day and I saw ESPN MMA. I'm sure you're familiar. It's a big MMA
Hmm.
account. They posted, it was it was kind of random, but it was an awesome compilation of just the best UFC moments of the last 10 years or so. They had the Anderson Silva front kick, the Conor McGregor
Yeah.
Jose Aldo fight, the Amanda Nunes Chris Cyborg knockout, which was awesome. So it's just all these crazy moments, and I had me thinking about we're so lucky to have all these moments. Do you have a favorite
Yep.
one that stands out to you? That was iconic MMA moment.
Um, hmm. It's hard to kind of think of one right on the spot. But I definitely liked kind of I don't like big mouth fighters. I don't like the whole you can talk and all that. That's part of the game. But I don't like it where I don't like the Conor McGregor style.
Mhm.
So kind of seeing him get finished was
Oh, okay.
definitely that for me that was a good moment.
Really, you don't. What turns you off to that kind of style? Do you think it's disingenuous, or do you just not think it's how the game should be played?
I just think it's a highly disrespectful, and it's you see, I think it's if you're at a level like Conor McGregor, right? Okay, he earned that his smack talk, right? Because
Right.
he built himself up first, and then it was all right, then he put it. But now you see all these younger level, newer fighters that haven't earned their keep yet, and they're just talking a whole lot of smack, and they get fights because of it. And it's just, hey, people that are putting in work but maybe are a little bit quieter on that side don't get those same opportunities.
Yeah, I think a weird thing kind of happened when Conor McGregor grew to such big stardom, where I think his trash talk didn't. I know what you're saying, the type of like, look, you're not
Right.
proving, you shouldn't be talking. Personally, I didn't mind the Conor stuff so much because he wasn't the first guy to do it, but I definitely say he was the best.
He took it to a next level.
Yeah, he took it to a new
Yeah.
level, and he definitely did cross the line on occasion. But it was weird, like when he really started getting big with those Chad Mendes and Jose Aldo fights, and he
Right.
rose to massive stardoms. You kind of started to see everyone doing it, and that kind of watered it down. I feel like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you ever fought someone where it's like, yeah, like this person has no business to be talking right now, or have you not had to deal with it?
I mean, for the most part, most of the opponents I've had, like, there wasn't really much trash talk before. It was, kind of like, hey, we're not friends right now. But especially the way, like, with Invicta specifically, because it's all females. We run into each other so often and so frequently that, one moment we're fighting and the next moment, hey, we might be helping, each other train.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I remember when I think my first exposure to women's mixed martial arts, the same as many people, was the first Ultimate Fighter season, if you remember, when they had the women on, because they just started the
Yep.
135. And it's funny because like all those women, like the women who came like 9th, 10th place still got contracts. Cause like,
Yep.
yeah,
That's how I think it was, like, pretty much most of the toughs for the females, because they were
yeah,
literally starting divisions. So, like, it didn't matter if you were on the show, you pretty much wound up with a
yeah,
contract.
exactly. Like people who lost in like the first round, you'd see like
Yep.
3 months later in the cage, like, oh, I guess it didn't matter. But
Yep.
what stood out to me in that season is they had, if you remember, they had the men on with them. I think
Yep.
they were all bantamweights, and so many of the women were unfazed by training with the men because they said, "Look, like those are the only training partners I had anyway." When
Right.
you were coming up, you're an atomweight, so that's a little smaller. Were you training with men, and like, was it like high school kids? Because
Yeah,
to get
no,
your
I
size,
mean, even now it's still like, a good majority of my, like, training partners are guys. It all depends. Like, I mean, it's getting a little bit better as far as, like, being able to have, like, female training partners. But even like when I get to train with other females, 9 times out of 10, they're significantly bigger than
yeah,
me. So it's kind of just become like, all right, you know what it is, what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do.
right, right. So what do you do when you're not fighting?
I'm actually a therapist, like mental
Oh,
health.
oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, they get completely opposite ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum.
Do you, are you ever worried that it might be discomforting if your patients Google you and see you being a cage fighter?
They Google me all the time. It's just because it's like you go to, if you're going, especially you're going to a doctor, but especially if you're going to like a therapist, like it's a
Yeah.
normal thing. People Google me, and if you Google me, none of my like therapy stuff comes up. It's all like my fight stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say like 90% of my clients already know that I
Yeah.
fight. Most of them watch my fights. They're frequently asking me like, "Hey, when's your next fight?" So I think it kind of like actually has like a backwards like helpful role where
Yeah.
it's all right. It actually like it shows me as a human being.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I would be comforted if my therapist was capable of doing in the cage that you were. Yeah. So do you have any news on when we will see you fight again?
Still waiting. Kind of hoping for it to be with like before the summer, but
Right.
we don't know. I've been told many different things, and none of those have come through yet. So right now, it's just the waiting game that I'm unfortunately used to.
Well, that's, yeah, I guess the fight game. But I think it's awesome that when you're not fighting, you're helping people a lot with the whole mental health stuff. That's really awesome. And thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Have a good rest of the day.